What up, folks? What up, folks? Welcome back to Dolphin Fan Voices podcast, DFV. Um, we're supposed to be on yesterday. I ended up doing some traveling yesterday and getting caught up on the road. I was gonna actually do this a little bit earlier, but man, this overnight scheduling has my body screwed up right now. So I'm still trying to get back used to actually being up during the day. So bear with me, bear with me. And that's the reason why we didn't get to do the podcast on last week as well. Um, so let's go ahead and do these intros, man.
Name's Ron Hyatt. I'm in California. Been a Dolphin fan all my life. Kind of pissed off about the Ajayi trade, but I digress.
And of course,
Can't wait for the game tonight.
yeah, and there's a lot to talk about, man. We're gonna take you guys right into the 1 o'clock games. I know I'm very interested in watching those 1 o'clock games as well. My name is Isaiah Harris. Um, from Miami, born and raised. Uh, went to my went to Miami Northwestern Senior High School. Graduate of Florida International University. So yeah, man, let's dive right into these topics, man. What did you want to talk about first?
Got horrible D offense to talk about. Some interesting moves, I guess. I was just gonna play off of what you had to talk about. I don't have any specific topics.
Okay, all right. I guess we could start off going back to last week and talking about the Ravens game. Um, there isn't really much on the offensive side of the ball to talk about in the Ravens game as we were blanked 40-0 versus the Ravens. But what did you feel about that Ravens game?
A lot of missed opportunities. I thought the Dolphins would do a lot better. I paid attention a lot during the week to Adam Gase, his daily press releases after practices, trying to get a little insight on how close Ted Larson was and how serious the injury to Anthony Steen was, and he ended up being put on IR this week.
Yeah.
Just they started throwing the ball, and I thought that they would keep with the running game. Especially the first run was a 21-yarder. And then it just seemed like the next 12 attempts at run or Jay Ajayi a touch here. And then just weird play calls, like even in the first half before the game was out of hand. 3rd and 8s or 3rd and longs. Instead of trying to get the first down, they're going deep. I mean, it's kind of a good idea, but the placement all game long of Matt Moore, he was just off. He had one-on-one Jakeem Grant down the sideline, and he threw it behind him.
Yep.
And then there was a couple of throws to Ajayi where he like throwing it at his ankles and not in the center of mass, kind of like where even if he went down to try and get it, he'd have to like contort his body like Plastic Man.
It has turned into a contortionist.
And the defense got blamed for getting torched, but that besides that one long pass where Nate Allen was the lone safety deep,
Your buddy
cover the inside, and McCain got beat on the inside, but he was basically just put on an island.
Yep.
For that one play. The defense literally held them waiting for the offense to do something.
Yeah.
and we even blocked a field goal.
Yep.
Vincent, the rookie defensive tackle, Vincent Taylor from Oklahoma State, he put his big mitt on that kick, and we still couldn't do nothing, even with good field position. We literally had, I don't know if you knew, but we had 9 straight 3-and-outs.
Yep.
9. Then
That
there was the 2 picks, and then we continued after the 2 picks to do more 3-and-outs.
that is a good way to wear out a defense. I don't care how good your defense is. If you're continuously going 3-and-out, 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 and the other team is able to sustain some drive and run the ball, especially running the ball, you're gonna end up wearing out your defense, no matter how good they are. And yeah, I saw that as well. And the worst part about that game to me, and I don't know if you agree with this, when it came to pass blocking in that game, in last week's game, to me versus the Ravens, I didn't think it was that bad.
Me either.
Yeah. See, and I had people telling me that the pass blocking for last week's game was terrible. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're looking at. The pass blocking for last week's game was not bad. Matt, there was some times that, listen, there will be some time that your quarterback will get some pressure. That's completely normal. That's going to happen to every single freaking offensive line. But for most plays, Matt Moore had time in a pocket to step up and throw the ball. So I really don't understand why people were blaming the offensive line as far as the pass blocking is concerned, because it was pretty decent. Now, the run blocking to me hasn't been great all season,
Correct.
but the pass blocking.
Ever,
Go ahead.
the only one doing decent in the run blocking has been Steen, and now he's out. Everybody else has been struggling in the run block. But the passing, you made a good point. Uh, that Jesse Davis kid only gave up 1 pressure the whole game in the Ravens game. Mike Pouncey hasn't given up a pressure in 5 straight games. And Juwan James has only given up maybe 1 or 2 pressures since the whole season started. He only had like 1 bad game. He's actually playing at a Pro Bowl level at right tackle.
Yeah.
And
All right. So
where the pressure came was the Ravens dialed up blitzes and noticed that didn't matter who the running back and the tight ends were, we couldn't figure out what the blitz was, whose man was who guy, and so that's where the pressures came was off of blitz.
woo, that one
2
blitz,
straight blitz.
yeah,
Damian Williams didn't even touch the dude. He's standing right in front of him.
he got blew up. Yeah.
It's like, God dang it, dude! At least like trip the guy, tackle him. Don't let the quarterback get killed. But yeah, you made a good point. I didn't see what people were talking about either, and everyone's calling for Mike Pouncey's head, and I don't see it. He's doing, besides the run blocking, he's doing great in passing.
All right. So we have a third co-host that's joined us. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, I've been a Dolphins fan for about maybe 7, 8 years now. Um, with the state of the team, I'm pretty happy with the state of the team right now. Though we've been in flux with the way we've played and our recent roster moves, but in terms of the future, I think it's pretty bright for us.
All right. So what did you think about that Ravens game?
You know what? I kind of think when I saw that game, I kind of knew that we were probably going to lose because I see a recurring theme with our team that our first our first 2 drives in the game
Uh,
really determine how the rest of the game is going to go for us. If we start the game giving up a sack or if we start the game having penalties, I already know that already sets us up for failure for the rest of the game, and that's going to set the tone for the rest of the game with our team. I think that's one real problem that we have, getting it off to slow starts. Like we have a really good run defense, but our offense is so bad and it's so incapable of moving the ball that our defense gets tired quickly and our run defense starts to become ineffective, and it's basically like we're incapable of doing anything on both sides of the ball. So in terms of the Ravens game, I was very disappointed to see it, but I wasn't surprised either because that's basically what we've been doing this entire season. It's like we've been inconsistent on both sides of the ball. It's just and a lack of discipline as well in blocking assignments. Our running backs are missing blocking assignments. Our cornerbacks are having blown coverages. It's really unfortunate.
All right, so heading into the Raiders game, the report came out yesterday that Jay Cutler, even with broken ribs, with hurt ribs, is going to start this ball game. So here's my question: if Cutler, with hurt ribs, that much better than Matt Moore?
If we're able to protect him, if we're able to protect Jay Cutler and we're able to keep him upright for the majority of the game, and he isn't landing in areas of his body that are related to his chest area, which probably would happen because this is football. He's probably going to hurt his ribs again. There's a decent probability that he will. Maybe not crack them again, but he'll definitely be in pain for sure. He has to be. Um, is he better than? Uh, I'd probably say no. I'd venture to say no. Maybe even the cracked ribs may make him very reluctant to even run out of the pocket sometimes. So I don't really think that he's an upgrade over Matt Moore. I think Matt Moore would still be on the playing field with Jay Cutler in terms of talent and possible production. If that's fair.
Well, from that Ravens game, Matt Moore took a few shots.
Mhm.
He missed the first couple of practices this past week because of his back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, our
There's a
quarterback
lot of guys.
situation is really. I mean, we were supposed to be one of the better teams coming into the league this season. We were supposed to be a playoff team again, and I can already feel it. I can already see it with our quarterback situation. I'm already feeling it. That I don't know if this season's gonna end well for us. I mean, I'm very hopeful, but with the way our quarterbacks are playing, combined with their combined with their combined injury history, I mean, I don't, I really don't know what the future's gonna look like for this season itself.
I think the biggest problem that I noticed and more highlighted in the Ravens game
Mhm.
is the over evaluated of the tight end position.
Mhm.
Bringing in Julius Thomas, he's just really not the player Adam Gase remembers. Fasano isn't what he used to be. And they're given very few opportunities to Marquise Gray.
Mhm.
And even in the blocking, it's criminal the effort or lack thereof that Julius is putting into it. I saw in the Falcons game, he was lined up on the right or left side of the line. He was supposed to come in motion and then follow or lead Jai into the B gap,
Right.
the right guard, left right tackle spot. He ran a loop around Juwan James, ended up in the flat, stopped, and then didn't touch nobody. Stopped and watched from the flat like he's sitting on the sidelines watching the play. So basically, the Dolphins on that play were 10 versus 11. The Ravens game, he's supposed to line up and pull to the flat a little bit and help lead the toss to the right tackle. He goes and side shifts and then stands there. The linebacker had a chance to hit him or slide to the C gap. He went ahead and just went uncontested to the C gap. And Ajayi got tackled for a 2-yard loss. The play was blown up.
Wow.
In run plays against the Titans, his blocking was so bad that they lined up on run plays. They lined up Jarvis Landry in the tight end spot, put Julius Thomas as the slot wide receiver because Jarvis Landry was doing better at run blocking than Julius Thomas was.
Wow.
So when you saw Jarvis not going on a lot of routes, he was literally helping the tackles block as a tight end at 5'11", 196 pounds. He's doing a better job than a 6'5", 262-pound tight end.
Yeah. Adam Gase, you've seen what he's done with Jay Ajayi and Byron Maxwell. He's getting rid of players that he doesn't feel is right for his team, that is inconsistent, that isn't really buying into what he's trying to do on a week-to-week basis. And with Julius Thomas, it's an interesting case because he wanted him here. Adam Gase wanted Julius Thomas here. And Julius Thomas is not performing up to where he needs him to be. So is Adam Gase's pride going to get in the way when it comes down to deciding whether Julius Thomas should continue to start or not? And maybe give Marquise Gray a chance? Because truly, you already seen that Adam Gase is a pretty prideful guy getting rid of probably a top 3 player on our team. So I don't know what he's going to do with Julius Thomas, but if he keeps playing like this, he needs to be out of here by the end of the season. Really, he needs to be. Or if his cap number isn't too high on our cap room, maybe we could cut him during the season. I don't know what we're going to do, but he's really not cutting it. He's too slow. He doesn't run block well. Nearly half the balls that's thrown his way, he doesn't even catch them. Whether it's dropped or he can't catch up to the ball. It's just, I think I think Anthony Fasano's better than him, to be honest. But much better.
For sure. Anthony Fasano is a much better blocker than Julius Thomas.
Certainly.
I thought we brought Julius Thomas in here to be just the more of that pass catching threat, but he hasn't really been that as well. There's been just a few catches that I'll say Julius Thomas went out of his way and made a spectacular catch.
Yeah.
And I think that was like 2 weeks ago, that one-handed catch where he went up and made that catch. I didn't think that was going to be a catch, but that was a beautiful catch by Thomas. But other than that, it's really been empty on the part of the production from Julius Thomas. Another one of those disappointing players on this team. Now, segueing right in, and I heard you mention it on the back end of your statement. Going through last week and going through plenty of the other weeks, all I kept hearing was the run blocking is terrible. Run blocking is terrible. Run blocking is terrible. The run blocking is terrible, right? So we get into the week. I wake up, I look at the Twitter, and I hear that the Miami Dolphins have traded Jay Ajayi to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 4th-round draft pick. And not only do I want to discuss Jay Ajayi being traded for a 4th-round draft pick, as I'm sure you guys would like to discuss that as well, but I also want to discuss the reaction of some of these fans, especially some of these fans in these Facebook groups, because this shit has been hilarious. Like I said, the entire past weeks, right? All I've heard was run blocking is terrible, run blocking is terrible. And we trade Jay Ajayi for a 4th-round pick, right? And I'm seeing people in this group, they have went from the run blocking is terrible to Jay Ajayi is a bum with a bad knee. Like that was the quickest switch I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Yesterday you were saying the run blocking is terrible, and now he's a bum with a bad knee. Goddamn, y'all switch up fast. What do you guys think about Jay Ajayi being traded? First of all,
You can go first.
I think it's garbage. And I noticed the same thing you did, Isaiah. It went from the team can't move the ball, the poor play calling of Adam Gase, la da 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 da. The offensive line is garbage. We need to shit can Pouncey for Brindle. We need to put Davis at left tackle and move Tunsil to left guard. All these wackadoo fucking ideas. And then Jai goes to the Eagles for basically nothing. A fourth round pick is literally nothing. The dude's a Pro Bowl running back. His bad knees. A game since being named a starter at week 5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. Has not missed one game. And now all of a sudden he's crappy in the locker room. Him and Gase don't get along. He's running the wrong holes. He's missing blocking assignments. He can't catch. And I'm sitting there, okay, in Boise State, he led the entire NCAA in catching at the running back position. His drafting, the year he got drafted, he had 58 catches for 1,200 yards, and he ran for over 1,200 yards at Boise fucking State. The dude can catch. The dude can run. He had one season where was an issue, and the report on the surgery was it's bone on bone. But he hasn't missed. We were 1-4 without him as a starter. We were running this Gase's famous running back by committee. We had 5 running backs active, with Daniel Thomas, Arian Foster, that peed kid that blew his knee up in that accident. We had Damian Williams, Kenyon Drake, and we didn't have Ajayi active. We had we went into Cincinnati in the 3rd week with those 5 running backs running.
I mean, are you sure Jay he's actually a good pass catching back, or did they force feed him at Boise State just because he was the most talented guy on the team? Because that's what I tend to assume. Because when I see him run out of the backfield to catch a football, he is the farthest thing from a natural pass catcher. If he's not dropping the ball, he just does not look like he's supposed to be a pass catcher to me. It looks like he's just out of place. It looks like he's just a bruising running back who's supposed to be running the ball on the inside. I don't really see a pass catcher in him. I just really feel like that's an overrated part of his game that's supposed to be there that I have yet to see. He hasn't produced in the passing game whatsoever. And I just feel like when I see him trying to go out to catch a pass, I'm thinking that should be Kenyon Drake doing that. And another thing is that when I saw this trade, I mean, it was pretty shocking to me. I didn't really know what to think at the time, but when I had time to think about it, I thought a couple of things. One, you don't trade a 24-year-old who just came off of a Pro Bowl year for a 4th-round draft pick. That's a serious. I mean, I don't care if he was a locker room distraction. This is the 2 ways it goes. When it gets out of the locker room, when it gets into the media that a player is a problem in the locker room and that he's a virus for your football team, and other GMs get a hold of that, that's one thing. When a GM knows they have an opportunity, a rival GM. But when nobody knows about it and it's in your building, why are you trading him for a 4th-round pick when you the team that has him has the benefit of the doubt? You know what his work ethic is like. You know the type of personality he has. The other rival GMs don't. The other teams don't. For you to trade him for a 4th-round draft pick, I mean, who's making that decision?
Gase.
I mean, if that's the maximum value that you can get for him, based on injury history, I just don't buy that that is the best they could do. I mean, if this was a problem during the off season, you should have traded him during the off season and got as much as you could for him, and maybe you could have added depth on your offensive line even more to a team that really needed a running back. But I just really feel like that was a big mistake there. But on the flip side, maybe it can improve our play calling because I see that we run a lot of stretch plays and outside zone plays, and I feel like there's a certain level of predictability to that. Um, Especially when it's not working, we continue to try those outside zone plays, even when our offensive line isn't performing up to it in terms of the run blocking side. So I feel like with Jay Ajayi gone, on the flip side, it can allow Adam Gase to run the offense he's always wanted to run, like what he did with No. Marino in Denver. A lot of catches out of the backfield with a running back who's a quick athlete who can move out of the backfield. Um, so maybe that can maybe help his offensive play calling, and maybe that could balance out the loss of Jay Ajayi. Maybe it could balance it out, but we'll have to see. Um, we'll see tonight if our front office made a mistake.
I for one don't understand the trade for getting rid of the player that absolutely helped turn this team around last season. I don't. I thought that was batshit crazy, especially for a fourth round draft pick. You do that shit in the middle of the season. We're 4-3. We're still in the thick of things. We're getting ready to go play the Raiders, and you go and you trade in the middle of the season. I thought that was absolutely insane, and I thought that was a Chip Kelly-ish type move. That's some shit that Chip Kelly would do to his team, and he actually did that in trading away Shady McCoy to the Buffalo Bills. That's what that looked like to me. And then, of course, with the fans, uh, how they flipped, how they went from talking about how bad the offensive line was to talking about that's like that's just that shit's crazy. That's like female shit.
I
That's
mean, in all oh, I'm sorry, Isaiah. Keep going. You can keep going.
and I just saw like just fans just flipping fast. Like one week they were talking about how bad our offensive line was, and the next week they were talking about how Jay Ajayi was a bum with a bad knee. That shit was hilarious. It had me rolling on the damn ground. Now, people were saying that okay, Jay Ajayi's gone now. Maybe it's gonna open up the offense. You'll get more opportunities. You'll get more opportunities. I've been asking where Kenyon Drake has been for about 7 weeks, and what was the plan with Kenyon Drake? I don't understand why we had to get rid of Jay Ajayi to give Kenyon Drake some touches.
Um, well, Adam Gase said that Kenyon Drake didn't earn his job. To keep it simple, I mean, he was not showing him what he needs to show Adam Gase in practice. So that's simply why he was not getting the touches that he needed.
Okay,
Last season, last season,
uh,
he was getting touches early in the season because our running back situation was in flux. I forgot who our running back was to start the season. Who was our running back? What? Oh yeah, Arian Foster.
Aaron,
Yeah, Arian Foster wasn't very good, and he was injured and out of the lineup a couple of times, which opened up opportunities for Kenyon Drake. That's why he got so many touches early on in the season, but that regressed as Jay Ajayi came on. But yeah, Adam Gase said he didn't earn his job to play, but I don't care. I frankly don't care. Our offense is struggling. Our offense was struggling at the time and we weren't producing. Try something new. Obviously, all this outside zone stuff isn't working. Bring more variety to the offense and bring Kenny Drake for 15 plays a game. Who's that going to hurt? So what if Jay complains? He's gone now. So it's just the lack of variety in our offense is a serious problem. You wasn't he your third round draft pick, Kenyon Drake? Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, he's roasting on the bench while when he could be improving in the game. You're not okay. You can only improve so much in practice. You can only improve so much, and there's barely any more practice to go around in the NFL, anyways. So let's see if he seizes this opportunity. Of course, our team has gotten worse, of course, and at the very least, will probably be a wild card, obviously. But
Well, here's a question:
Mhm.
Isn't Gase in charge of the offense as not only the play caller and the head coach?
Yeah.
His scheme wherever he's gone has been the zone run blocking, either inside or outside, and it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And isn't it him that said that in the off season that he hasn't seen anybody work as hard as Jay Ajayi putting in the extra work to stay on the field for all three downs. Worked on his pass catching, his route running, learning his keys for the passing, and the picking up the blitzes and his run blocking. And then
Yeah.
isn't it Adam Gase also said that the reason that Kenyon Drake was the third back behind Damian Williams and Joe Jai is because he doesn't trust him because he ad libs too much. But then what I thought was interesting during the trade is all the information coming out about how bad Jay Ajayi was coming from Adam Gase, that he didn't fit the system, that he wasn't hitting the proper holes, picking up a blitz to save his life, and he was useless in the passing game. So did Jay Ajayi run the offense because that's he wanted more touches, or was Adam Gase failing to coach because even last year he failed. He admitted in his own press conference at the end of the year that he failed to utilize Kenyon Drake more. He didn't get Grant and crew involved in the offense, and here we are now. It's middle of the season, halfway through. It's the Pro Bowl running back for basically a candy bar and a pack of smokes. But and we're sitting here, and now all of a sudden, like the fans are saying, "Well, Kenyon Drake's going to step up. Damian Williams will have a bigger role." They could have had a bigger role now. Gase could have used them now. When the run failed, he could have played Julius Thomas out and went a two back set and play fake the ball to Ajayi, getting everybody to draw up to the line of scrimmage to stop it, and then flip it in on a wheel route or into the flat to Kenyon and Damian Williams. We used that play effectively all last year, where we had Damian Williams and Jay Ajayi in the backfield at the same time. And on that play that Kenyon popped out against the Buffalo Bills for 45 yards, Ajayi was the fullback on that play. So I'm not buying all this stuff. And if using Gase's own words, I don't know what to believe. One minute he's saying Ajayi works hard, is the player that you'd want on your teams wherever you're playing, and then now all of a sudden he's got a bum knee. He's not hitting the right holes. Own eyes saw 1,278 yards last year, 8 touchdowns and 1 touchdown passing. Versus this year, he's got almost 500 yards, and over 300 yards of that's coming after first contact where he's making his own freaking hole. His offensive line has accounted for his average of 1.39 yards a carry, and he's averaging 3.6. So he's getting half of his own yards on his own with the hole. Running over people, drag like in the Falcon game. He drugged two dudes 8 yards for 14, 18-yard gain. He's that touchdown last year in Buffalo. He trucked that Marcel Darius, the defensive tackle that was traded to Jacksonville for a second and a fourth round pick. He trucked him and then stiff armed Brown, the linebacker that signed with the Redskins, for a touchdown. He was hit 2 times in the backfield as soon as he got the ball and made the touchdown off of his own. I don't get it. I don't see how all of a sudden he's the cancer in the locker room and he's the reason why we're losing.
I don't see either.
But like you said though, we'll see this time because Ajayi is gonna not get the start, but he's gonna play a big role in the Eagles versus the Broncos today. And
Let's
then
be
we're gonna
honest.
have Kenyon Drake and Damian Williams start the game for the Dolphins tonight. So
I
I'll be
mean,
interested to see, if Ajayi goes and breaks out 150 yards for the Eagles, and then Miami comes out and lays another 30 burgers for zero and a goose egg, and we can't move or run the ball or do nothing.
I mean, LeGarrette Blunt is probably out of there. I mean, they're the exact same type of player. LeGarrette Blunt and Jay Ajayi is just Jay Ajayi is a slightly better, I'd say. He's a better and younger version of LeGarrette Blunt, who is less expensive at this point. So LeGarrette Blunt is obviously out of there at the end of the season. That's the way I see it.
Trading Ajayi doesn't even save cap space. He's
For the
making
Eagles,
500K this year. He's only going to count for less than 700K next year. Julius Thomas is counting 8 million this year and 6.9 million next year.
Yep.
If we cut him, he's got 7 of his 8 million this year is guaranteed. So we'll lose another 6 million or 7 million in dead money if we cut Julius right now.
Yep.
And Gate was the one that pushed for the trade for Maxwell, and then a year later is cutting him and keep 5 million. 5 million in dead money.
Yeah, nothing. That trade looks worse and worse for us. It's a good thing that Kiko Alonso has worked out for us because otherwise that trade would have looked terrible,
The
completely
Eagles
terrible.
are the one that volunteered to throw Alonso in that deal.
Yeah. So at least we got Kiko Alonso out of it, and then we ended up getting Laramie Tunsil in that deal. So, all right. So, guess we're gonna segue right into um this Raiders game. I guess before we go to the Raider game, just an update. Uh, the Dolphins have activated Ted Larson. They've been waiting half the season to see how Ted Larson looks in the lineup, and a chance is probably going to come today. Larson was activated from the injured reserve on yesterday. So, what do you guys think about Ted Larson coming into this lineup tonight?
um, I think he'll probably be decent. But I mean, how much do you expect from him? I mean, he's probably not gonna be. I mean, it's a leg injury, so he's probably not gonna be too fit in terms of game stamina. And Russ comes in to play as well. So I don't really think we should just throw him into the starting lineup unless he's looked good in practice. Has he looked good in practice? Do any of you guys know?
That I don't know.
They didn't comment, but he did practice yesterday or Friday on the last day. He's been
I mean, if he
practicing
looks,
all week, but he got activated yesterday. I think he's going to play, but I don't know if he's going to start. They haven't. Gase hasn't said, and he made a point of saying he's leaving all options open for game day. So I guess he doesn't want the Raiders to know who the starting running back and the offensive line is going to be.
I mean, that's a really interesting
But
decision that you're gonna have to make because the offensive line is a group of a football team that needs continuity and chemistry. And if we throw Ted Larson back in there, I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, Anthony Steen's been pretty decent, so I don't see why he should be uplifted from his role.
He's out.
He's out. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe Ted Larson is our best choice. We'll see, but continuity really is important. So let's see what Adam Gase does.
yeah, Anthony Steen and Nate Allen were put on the IR. They won't be available till next year. We had
Wow.
2 roster spots open.
Oh, isn't TJ McDonald coming back this week or next week?
Next week
They
because of
will after the Raiders game, and I think that's why they left the two roster spots open. They cleared those two roster spots, allowed Ted Larson to hit the active roster, and then next week, after tonight's game, they can put T.J. McDonald in the active roster.
What
that.
injury did Nate Allen suffer?
Ooh,
Some kind of calf injury,
Oh,
but his play was so garbage. I think they just used like a Maxwell injury that Michael Thomas came in and had two targets against him, and he defends both targets. I think that they just felt that he played way better than Nate Allen, and they're just been chomping. He's just there, holding a spot open for T.J. McDonald. To be honest,
all right, so he suffered some type of calf injury. I've
yeah,
ne-
it was something with his bottom of his leg or whatever. Yeah, that he did exit the game against the Ravens, and they put in Michael Thomas. He didn't come back into the game.
I think this offensive line with Steen being down and Larson getting in there and Cutler's gonna be back there with hurt ribs. I think it sets us up for a really interesting cocktail going into this Raiders game. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it does. I think this is gonna be very. Oh yeah, and then you take Jay Ajayi out, so you have Steen out, Larson in, Cutler back there with hurt ribs, and Jay Ajayi gone. It's a really interesting cocktail on offense, and I hope it works for the best for us tonight because it's going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, and German Bush right guard is has a hand problem. He had it wrapped up a week in practice.
All right, so
I'm interested to see if they throw in Davis at right guard and Larson at left guard. I don't know.
all right, so what are you guys' expectations for this Raider game? What do you expect in this Raider game, and what's your final score for the Dolphins versus the Raiders?
um, the Raiders season, it's really on the line right now. Knowing that that team has a lot of veterans on there, a lot of great players, I would have to say they would really come out giving it their all, which all football teams should do every week. But there's extra incentive when your season is about to end right in front of your eyes. So I do think we're gonna find a way to win this game. I truly do think we'll find a way. I'd probably say 26-23. Yeah, Dolphins.
Okay.
My expectations are kind of low. I'm hoping that we don't get more injuries because we're starting to get really thin, especially on the offensive line. I mean, if you think about it, we started the season with Craig Herbert, Ted Larson, Anthony Steen, and then Dylan Bushrod, Juwan James, and Larry Tunsil. That undrafted rookie, he was the best tackle in preseason. He's on IR for a blown knee. Craig Herbert hurt his knee and back. He got cut. He's gone. Anthony Steen now he hurt his knee. He's gone for the year. And we're down to undrafted rookies as our starters, and Jesse Davis. Bushrod playing right guard. I don't know why. And we still haven't seen any action from Isaac Asiato, our fifth round pick. Laramie Tunsil's hurt, and he had 5 offside false start penalties just against the Ravens alone. He's right now this year. Stat that I don't think is a very good stat to lead the league in. So I'm looking maybe just score some points, and this will be a playoff atmosphere with the Raiders because their season is, quite frankly, on the brink. If they lose this one, they're behind the eight ball, 3 games out of 500, let alone playoffs. I'm looking. I think the Raiders win 28-17. I don't see the Dolphins scoring more than 17.
Um, my expectation, there's some interesting things that's going on in this game. Um, the Raiders, the Raiders are going to be missing three members of their secondary. So three members of this Raiders secondary will be out, and we're supposed to be getting Devontae Parker back. So we will have Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills, Landry against the backup to the backup to the backup for the Raiders. Um, I don't see any way we can't win those matches. Um, Last week, as I stated, the pass blocking was pretty good for Matt Moore. And this Raider defense isn't that great. We have that one guy, and his name slips my damn mind. I don't know how the hell I forget him as a pass rusher because he's one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Mac.
Matt, Khalil
Khalil
Mack, to really worry about. And if we can contain Khalil Mack, because that's all I know from this Raider defense, we should be able to have our way with the secondary. Um, I think we will see. I think we'll see Devontae Parker getting some big plays in this game. I can see Kenny Stills getting some big plays in this game. I would like to see Leonte Carew out there, even though Devontae Parker is back, because I thought Leonte Carew looked good last week, and I think if you're trying to come up with a plan for next year, Leonte Carew, if you're not going to make this signing, Leonte Carew needs to get those reps. I think he can fill that void, but you can't just throw him out there, off the whim. He's got to be getting reps from week in and week out, even if this season is not going to be very successful. But
The,
I think we win this game. I think we win this game on offense, and I think the defense goes back to being that top 10, top 5 defense. So I'm going to go 35-28 with a Miami win, and I think Devontae Parker and Kenny Stills actually light it up in this game, going against a backup.
Guys, you know what side of the line that Khalil Mack lines up on?
I think he's lined up on the right, so I think he's going to end up one on one probably with James.
No, I think it's Tunsil because
It's Tunsil.
left tackle, and then when you flip it on the other side, it's right. So Khalil Mack will be on Tunsil. So
Oh
yeah, we
man.
probably lost that game. We probably
Oh.
lost. We probably
Oh
lose.
God. Oh boy.
Yep.
And Bruce Irvin lines up on the other side.
Yep. We might. there's a good chance we might give up 6 to 7 sacks this game single handedly just because of Tunsil. Single handedly, there's a pretty good
What
chance.
worries me is Nate Allen, or not. I mean the Crabtree and kid. I forgot his name. He broke out against the Chiefs at wide receiver, and then Amari Cooper
Uh-huh.
worries me because they'll line up in the 3 wide receivers a lot with the Cooks. Cooks is tearing it up at tight end. That's what's got me worried about this game is because like Mack and Irvin coming and blitzing, because Joe Rio's not going to sit back and let us just throw the ball when he saw that all year long we struggle with the blitz pickup.
we it's an interesting position we're in, but hopefully Tunsil can really come up to the challenge here. Maybe going against the best competition will bring out the best in him. So
I just
We'll
worry about it.
see.
He's been nursing the knee, and they didn't give him the Ravens game to give him a bye week. Come back healthy for the second push of the season.
Oh man, if
Because
they
that's why I was mad for last week with the
One,
Ravens is we had a chance. We set Parker out on purpose because we wanted to make him healthy. I don't know why we didn't just let Jesse Davis play left tackle and give Tunsil a chance to rest his knee is messed up.
you see, in the NFL, this is a perfect example. In the NFL, your schedule is never as bad as you really think it is. We saw this schedule, and we saw some games on the schedule that we thought would be very difficult. Look at the Oakland Raiders. Look at the Buccaneers. Look at the Patriots. Their defense is struggling. Even though they're getting back into form, their defense is still shaky. Look at the Ravens. They killed us, which they always do, but they're not really a good football team.
nope.
So we really put our. If we had Ryan Tannehill's nothing special, but in this offense, I expected him to do really well. And if he was here, we could be a 6-1 football team right now. We really could. We shouldn't have lost that game to the Jets. We've been losing games that we shouldn't be losing to teams that we can beat. And we're losing really bad, by really bad margin. And we could be in a really good position if our quarterback situation wasn't so up in the air and our offensive line wasn't just so crap.
I tell you one thing about this Raider game. We better not go out there and go 3-and-out, 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 and allow Marshawn Lynch to get loose and get in on our entire defense. He's coming back this week after a suspension, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. So that's another guy that we're definitely going to have to be able to contain is Marshawn Lynch. So it better not be 3-and-out, 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 3-and-out for us, and continuing to allow Marshawn Lynch to bang at our defensive line, because that could turn into a long game as well for us. But I just feel like our offense is going to light it up.
Miami's offense can win if they come out and they don't allow Cutler to hold the ball for a long period of time. So then they should have the quick routes open for a drop off for when there's pressure. If they make him try to scramble and try and extend the play with his ribs, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're going to see Matt Moore.
But if we have Landry running his slants and Parker doing the 50-50, and he's going to call bubble screens, and he's going to call them for Parker and Landry like he did against the Chargers. But if we can get those and get some pop plays, 5-6 yards a pass, that can replace the lack of a running game if we can't get Damian Williams and Kenyon Drake running the ball. And we're trying to do 3 tight end sets, and we're trying to see when and if Julius Thomas can be explosive, which he's not explosive anymore. Anybody can see that. If we go to more of the 3 and 4 wide receiver sets and less of the 2 and 3 tight ends, I think we can take advantage of that wounded secondary of the Raiders.
Yes.
But only if we game plan for it. If we come out and, like you said, if we're 3-and-out, we hand the ball off and it's 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, and then we pass it, we'll probably likely see Cutler get hurt again.
Yep.
We'll see Moore come out, and then Moore is playing with a sore back if he does play. And I don't know if we've activated David Fells or not. So we could be having Marquise Gray play quarterback for us before it's all.
Oh man!
But I think Cutler can have a big game.
Yeah.
If Gase calls that spread offense, quick passes like what the Chargers did to us. Just you get it back 1, 2, 3 steps, and the ball's gone. Then the pass rush, even if they blitz, can't get there. And Cutler has a chance to get into a rhythm and get hot. And then when he's hot, he's on fire. He's hitting the double guys, but he's threading the needles. But if he's panicky and he's getting rushed, we've seen this year him assume there's rush when there's not, and then he's garbage. But I'd like to see Jarvis go loose. I'd like to see Parker go loose, and maybe they put Carew back out there. He did have 6 catches for 90 yards against the Ravens.
All right, so I'm about to kick back and watch this Broncos versus Eagles game. I want to see how Jay Ajayi does with his new team. Next week,
What's funny is if he catches like 8 passes for a bunch of yards, looks like the Chiefs Kareem Hunt, and all of a sudden Miami couldn't get him to throw the ball. I'll be laughing my ass off, dude.
that would be just our damn luck if that was to happen. Oh man, I would roll on the ground laughing if that shit happened to us, man. For real, it would suck, but that would be hilarious. Anybody got any final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this one up? Getting ready to start the 1 o'clock games.
If I need you to, will you stream the game for me?
Yeah. What? Which game? The
Dolphins?
Yeah. I'm gonna stream it anyway. I'm streaming it tonight. I'm home, so I'll stream.
It's good seeing you back, Stephen. Where did he go?
Yeah, look like he's out. Anyway, folks, next Dolphin Fan Voices podcast will be next week Sunday because we play on Monday night versus the Panthers. So 7 o'clock Sunday night, we will be back to talk Dolphins, Panthers. Hopefully, we're back to talk after a W and not after a miserable ass loss to the Raiders today. I hope that we get a chance. We need some W's, man. We've been taking way too many L's. We need some W's, and hopefully the team goes out there and gives us something to think about tonight, something to be happy about tonight. Pardon me. So we will talk to you guys next time, man. We're freaking out of here. Dolphins versus Raiders tonight, and we'll be back next week. Peace.
Peace.